You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for Problemista. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Problemista is a 2023 comedy written and directed by, as well as starring, Julio Torres. Alejandro is a struggling toy designer who is struggling to bring his unusual ideas to life in New York City. As time on his work visa runs out, a job assisting an art world critic becomes his only hope to stay in the country and realize his dream. In addition to Julio Torres, the film co-stars Tilda Swinton, with narration provided by Isabella Rossellini. Now, I saw Problemista as the closing film of the 2023 Denver Cinema Q Film Festival, a film festival that highlights queer voices, queer representation, and queer visions on screen. Now, as part of the pre-ceremony for the showcasing of this film, I did learn that A24 has moved Problemista back to 2024 amidst all of these strikes. So the sooner that studios give up the money that these people earn and deserve, the sooner we can get back to getting visions such as Problemista back to our screens. And this came as a huge shock because this was actually one of my most anticipated films for the remainder of 2023, and I couldn't find a release date anywhere, and well, that's because there's not really a solid one in place. But at least now I know it's not going to be till 2024. Now, as a Latino queer person myself, seeing the trailers for this film had me so excited. First of all, I just love Tilda Swinton because, well, who doesn't? But getting to see queer representation within the Latino community, particularly an immigrant in this case, was really exciting for me. And getting Julio Torres, who's been doing some great work over the last several years, have a shining role like this and make his directorial debut, I was very keen to give this one a go. And ultimately, it is wild, it is surreal, it is moving, it is wonderful. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives for Problemista. Well, my biggest positive is just going to be Julio Torres as a whole because he does a great job with his directorial debut. He's able to really balance the surreal aspects of this project, the very indie feeling weirdness that he plugs in, and make it authentic to what's happening, make it part of the actual narrative and have actual sense behind it. It's not just weird for weirdness' sake. It's there as a clear artistic choice to translate what his story is, and it works so well, and it's such a beautiful balance. Now, you have to be prepared for the style that it is, but he delivers on the style he was going for. But as a writer, he delivers as well, giving us that wonderful balancing act, because this film is very funny. My entire audience, myself included, were laughing consistently throughout the entire runtime. It's not all that long either, so don't worry, it's not one of those comedies that vastly overstays its welcome. It's short, it gets to its point, and it makes you laugh throughout, while also striking the proper emotional chords, giving you commentary, particularly and most notably on the immigration experience and the American dream, while touching on outside projects as feeling like an outsider. And we have a queer character in the forefront in which their queerness is not really a part of the story, it's just who they are. And as an actor, Alejandro is a wonderful character, a very quirky, strange character that is brought to life beautifully by Julio Torres on screen. So it's a huge feat to write and star in your directorial debut, and he balances those hats wonderfully. And then we have Tilda Swinton, who he plays off of as Elizabeth, and she is amazing in this role. You can tell from the trailers she's going to deliver something amazing, and she certainly does. She is so fantastic as this over-the-top, ridiculous vicious woman who has a lot of problems. And in pairing with the writing, her portrayal really humanizes this woman. So once we get to some deeper moments with her and some more understanding with the character, it rings true. And you as the audience member are willing to go along with it, because this could have easily fallen into just straight up hatred when it comes to this character. And somehow, some way, it doesn't. The rest of our cast is also a delight. Nobody in here gives a bad performance. Isabella's narration also works really well. And usually narration is something that I don't love, but here it really balanced out. But here it added to the comedy and worked well. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Problemista? Well, I have to bring up that runtime again, because while it's a comedy that doesn't overstay its welcome, it's a comedy that I think could have benefited from maybe 10 to 15 more minutes, because there are so many storylines in here that I would have loved to explore just a bit further, particularly Alejandro's mother and what she's going through. They parallel her really beautifully, particularly as we get to the end of the film. The parallel to his mother actually connects wonderfully, but I think we could have explored it just a tad bit more. Same thing with the roommate situation. It's always kind of just there, but we don't really touch it. All of our periphery characters are just there. We don't really touch on them too much. They're there to only serve Alejandro. And that's fine. It's not a huge negative. It doesn't detract from my overall viewing experience. But you go out leaving like, oh, those characters were fun. I wish I would have spent just a tad bit more time with them, or explored some of these ridiculous things that are added in. And it wasn't a negative for me personally, but just a warning, I'd say. It is a surrealism type of film. You are taken out of reality. Some of those visual effects are wonky. I will say that as a negative. Not all of that green screen visual surrealism quite works visually, even if it does conceptually. But you have to be prepared to go for the ride. It's an awkward, quirky style of comedy that has all the social commentary laid on the groundwork. But just know, this is not a straightforward mainstream type of comedy. It is A24 distributing after all. So if that sounds like a fun time for you, I think you are going to love Problemista like I did. It's funny, it got me in the feels, it gives fantastic performances, it has so much that everyone who's ever been in any type of situation like this can relate to, and best of all, it's really freaking entertaining. So please make sure to keep your eye out, set some alerts, and be ready to check out Problemista as soon as a release schedule is on the books. This is definitely one you are not going to want to miss once it's released. So that was my review for Problemista. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Problemista, or have you seen it at one of the festivals it's shown at in 2023? Let me know all of your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.